Into the mitten.
Sorry.
It's going.
Better than
Do you know
last
how
week.
hard it is to have a baby? This is how it's being born.
What?
It is tough to create something.
Destruction is better than creation any day of the week, but if you can get something out of what you destroyed, then you've got another day of living.
Like blessing and tragedy kind of deal?
It's the whole idea.
I've always found it's always been easier to tear shit down than it is to build it. You know, I've always thought that was odd. Like, why is building something so difficult, but destruction is so easy?
Is a very interesting thing. When I've been doing work on these things that are like, okay, it's somebody's house burned down that was in a book, and all of a sudden it sucks tearing this thing down.
But it's way easier than building it, kind of.
It's rebuilding it. You know, there is such a thing as tearing something apart so much. We're getting too quick into this. I mean, you know, this should be the last line.
We're getting too quick to the destruction. Man, we're having a rough start to this. This
It's
episode's
all right.
a rough start. Yeah.
It's always a rough start. It's like me fucking getting up in the morning. I fucking suck at getting up in the morning. I woke up at like 9:30 and fucking ended up passing drunk out at my house.
Yeah,
I was trying to persuade him from not driving.
I shitbagged it up a little bit last night, drank a little too much, and he didn't want me to drive.
I'm a big proponent of not driving intoxicated these days because of things I won't care to discuss right now.
Well, I can tell you the things you can't discuss. It's those things that I'm reading on the toilet right now about the Jerry Tobias murders in Gaylord.
Now?
It doesn't matter what anybody thinks or knows or anything else. They can just put you away if they don't like you.
Well,
You don't want to do it.
it's an easy thing too. It's not like catching a murderer or anything. It's a
Just make up a lie.
well, I
Make it
mean,
exist.
the proof is almost it exists when you get pulled over. So it's not like they have to do any really hard work. I mean, they basically like, hey, blow into this too, and then you're like, oh, you're drunk, or maybe my machine's not correct. And
Maybe my camera wasn't on. I don't know.
Take you to the jail, and since I was able to drive in Gaylord, I mean, basically you could get pulled over for little to nothing, and then like kind of shook down. You know, I've got my car tossed a couple times for like having my turn signal wasn't working properly. You know, and so the guy tears apart my car because my turn signal isn't working. Like, you could at least put it back in the glove box for me and not just throw it all over my car, sir.
I've had a couple friends that have had that happen to them. The car gets tossed by the cop, and they don't give a shit. They just rip it apart, and then they just leave you there. They're like, all right, fucking clean this mess up, you know? Yeah, have a nice day. Thankfully, I haven't had to deal with that myself.
Do you realize that these things that they say are just lies to get them through their day? And a lie to exist is existentialism.
You know, I'd hate to think that somebody, I guess
what they are doing to make their lives worthwhile, and they're just liars.
I have a hard time with the fact that like somebody would just make something up and just be like, whatever, screw that guy. You know, he's just another ticket or whatever. I
like blasphemy?
Well, no, I mean, if you're just it's basically falsifying, I just hate to think that the police would do that. Do I think they do?
We're led to believe from when you're young that they're a person that you should be able to look up to, or they're supposed to be a symbol of security.
You're supposed to trust them.
Yeah, exactly. A symbol of trust.
My father has told me not to wave at a cop because he'll pull us over. That's what we learn as children, is the cops, they act like our friends, but then overall, they're just people that are looking at you.
I think that's true. I'd like to think that there's some like altruistic cops somewhere, or law enforcement. I'd like to think they're trying to make a difference, and that they got into the profession because they really want to help people and things like that.
Maybe it starts like that.
And maybe it does, and maybe they get so jaded, and that might not be their fault. Maybe it's just the way the system is set up, that they're working in the confines of the same thing as anybody else. They're confined by their job duties and things they have to do, and so perhaps they do get a little bit burnout and jaded, and it kind of turns them into maybe more cynical. I think they get a little bit more cynical, and so like when it comes to like certain aspects of their jobs, I think sometimes the little bit of humanity that they may have once went into the profession for gets lost into cynicism, and they're just like, whatever, you're just you're a liar. Everybody's lies. And I get that because
let's look at this.
Yeah.
Some cops are just people that want to beat the shit out of people on a daily basis.
I think some
cops want to be somebody that can make things better, and those cops, and I've met them outside of San Jose, they're like, I cannot be a cop anymore because of the way things are going. There are people that are cops that just can't be cops anymore.
Can't handle the responsibility.
No,
they
I
can't handle the bullshit. The bullshitting in the mitten. They just get out.
I'm not sure how many people can handle the bullshitting in the mitten.
This is not a joke. This is not a lie. This is what we are.
One of the first though. Here's a weird story. When I was a kid, the first thing I wanted to be when I grew up, like as far as I can remember back, was a priest.
And you told me that.
Then the next thing was like a police officer, and then after that, my dreams just scattered and shattered, and I don't much recollection after that. But I think back to that. I'm like, why did I want to become a priest? And then why would I want to become a police officer? I think because in my mind they were both like helping professions.
I was just gonna say that, dude, and going on to like what you do now, it's like you want to generally help people. I can see it. Yeah, you as a person. Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason I guess. Yeah.
You hate bullies.
I try to stick up for people that. Yeah.
It's fun to beat up bullies. John, were you to be a priest in your family?
No.
You're the only one of us that wasn't.
Oh, really?
You were. Well, you're going to be a Catholic priest, though.
Okay, you have to elaborate on the difference.
Okay, so Richie, you could go to this perhaps too. I could as well. But so I was like Presbyterian when I was a child. So I'm thinking of like Protestant priest, which means you can have a family. But you were ready to commit your life to the
have your cake
the cross
too.
Legally, you can screw. Wow.
Not as a Catholic priest though. I mean, you were going to be a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was my path.
Whose path? Who chose that path?
I was born to be, and I was led down that road.
By whom?
My family.
Oh, really? Like it was a thing? Like you were?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like you were like border like condition like.
No, I'm trying to understand here. Like, was this
directly pointed?
I'm gonna explain it to you. There's something in the Catholic faith that says you have to send your children to become priests and such.
Yeah.
Nuns. If a bitch doesn't have a job, she's got to be a nun. And this young man, you give your boys to the church. My father was supposed to be a priest, and then I was supposed to be a priest. And you know what? It's a lot of bullshit. It's just the way things go.
So what happened?
So your family's been letting the Catholic Church down for generations?
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Those that weren't buried.
Wait.
The girls, they don't want to be nuns.
Go.
And they can't throw a bale of hay.
Pause. Did you
die?
Did you just say someone was buried?
I heard something.
I heard talk about.
I'm pretty sure out of the 9 kids that were born to my grandpa's family, that probably 7 of them were girls, and we didn't know about them, and they were buried in the backyard by the pigsty.
Just north of town, or what?
Well, yeah, we hold the property.
I'm not looking to go grave robbing. I'm just.
No, you're not gonna get anything out of it. It's just corpses.
Who's to say?
Yeah. This is speak for yourself.
I don't know what to tell you. I can tell you about
I feel like I draw the line at necrophilia.
Why? I mean, come on.
necrophilia. Oh, now there's a whole new story.
Nah.
Who wouldn't want a dead person?
What?
Nothing.
So
we don't want to talk about it.
I got nothing after that. That just,
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about the rage thing.
Yeah.
Let's go into that. So.
Rage. Doesn't anybody ever experience this? You wake up and you just feel just aggression. And you're just sitting there waiting for somebody to come. Because there's no reason for you to even be angry at the time. But to have it.
but I just go through in my head constantly justifying all the reasons why I should be angry and just compiling it.
And you get nothing?
Nah, no.
I never really, I never woken up angry. That's the thing.
Yeah, I like you said, there's no reason to be angry. There's no reason to be angry. Yet I am. Like, so you could think about it in two different ways. Like, a certain situation could happen, and you could either think about it in the positive way or the negative way. And I feel like it takes just as much energy to do either, but I'm stuck or perplexed on why I just keep thinking the glass half empty. Like, mad. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
let's look at it that way. The glass half empty. The glass half empty is not always the worst thing. The glass half empty means that you're that much closer to a fresh beer. And so you can go,
Oh, man.
Wait,
there is hope for the future.
Yeah,
there's a light in the darkest tunnel.
that just helped everything. There's a light beer in the darkest tunnel.
There's a big ultra in the darkest tunnel.
There's a light beer. There's always a light beer at the end of the tunnel. Going for another beer. I don't even need one. Yeah.
Now you're starting this shit. What people don't understand is the rage that lives inside of them.
Yeah.
The state of Michigan?
Oh, state of Michigan? No, the state of reality. There's a rage that lives within every one of us.
I feel it.
And you feel it every time you wake up. And you wonder, don't you?
I'm not that angry.
I wonder all the time.
Not anymore. I used to be. I used to be angry.
Maybe I don't wonder. I just find myself stewing on shit that doesn't even matter. It's trivial bullshit.
Yeah, you're probably going to stroke out.
And it doesn't matter.
Dang, I mean, it does to me. A little bit.
Fuck the world.
I feel like I kind of want to get ahead of this.
It doesn't. It does matter to you, though, doesn't it?
Well, I don't want to die of a stroke, but there's times I get so like worked up over just.
What makes you angry?
It's a good question.
Yes, thank you. What I think the better question anymore.
What doesn't make you angry?
Yes. Yeah,
That's a hard way to be.
Oh man, it weighs on me. I don't even want to be that because I'm not a mean person. I really am not. I'm just mad.
I think he's joking. Like sometimes he's so pissed off. I think it's like an act. Like it seems like fucking like. Honestly, it's like Chris Farley or some. I don't know if that's correct, but like some like exaggerated fucking episode. Like how pissed off he is, and I think he's embellishing it.
I kind of snap,
but he's not. I don't think he actually is now. I think he's he's actually angry.
I've worked myself to where I have to sit down. I feel like there's like a little heartbeat in my forehead. Yeah, that's not good, man. I'm not. Yeah.
But you know, anger comes from a couple different places. From what I've read and learned is that
I have a few hang-ups I haven't maybe.
Usually, it's a result of some sort of anxiety or frustration that manifests itself in a way that you can't express. So
I just harbor it.
Yeah,
I don't get it out in healthy doses. That's for sure. Or
Okay, let's talk about this.
I thought we were, but
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that rage that you feel like you're like, rah! And then when you're reading a book about Jerry Tobias being killed in 1987, there's nobody in that story that has that kind of rage. How can
so
you kill somebody and be put away without that kind of rage?
Like wrongfully imprisoned? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, kind of. I'm like, how can you be wrongfully imprisoned without having that kind of rage? When anybody can say anything about you and get you put away.
That I think I can see where initially that would probably be the response I'd have, but I think at some point you've probably got to work past that. Because what are you going to do about it? Like most things. Although I would think that would be incredibly frustrating to be put out on that sort of like showcase type pedestal and get put away for something that you necessarily weren't responsible for.
As a calm person, that's what I'm saying. That is the problem that they had in that situation, was they were all calm and they were like, there's no problem here, I didn't do anything, and they got put away for a state of rage that